I stood in the doorway of what used to be my carefully planned nursery, my hand protectively resting on my 8-month pregnant belly. The soft yellow walls I painted with my husband were now a stark gray. The handmade mobile of woodland creatures, which had taken me weeks to craft, was replaced by a crystal chandelier. My mother-in-law, Diana, stood in the center of the room, beaming with pride. "Surprise, darling. I know you wanted to do the nursery yourself, but let's be honest. It was a bit juvenile. This is much more sophisticated, don't you think? More fitting for my grandchild." I felt my baby kick, as if sharing my distress at seeing our cozy nursery transformed into what looked like a miniature luxury hotel room. The rocking chair where I'd planned to nurse my baby was gone, replaced by an ornate Victorian-style armchair that looked anything but comfortable. The warm, child-friendly rug featuring a playful forest scene had been swapped for a pristine white carpet. "Where are our things?" I managed to ask, my voice surprisingly steady despite the hormones raging through my body. "Oh, I had my decorator put everything in storage. Don't worry about it." Diana waved dismissively. "The baby shower is tomorrow, and I couldn't bear the thought of all our guests seeing that, what did you call it, woodland theme." She shuddered delicately. I thought about the hours Tom and I had spent planning this room. How he'd learned to use a sewing machine to help me make the curtains. How we spent weekends hunting for the perfect pieces at antique stores and craft fairs. All of it gone in a day while we were at my final ultrasound appointment. "Mom, what have you done?" Tom's voice came from behind me, his tone filled with disbelief. He'd just returned from parking the car. "I fixed it, darling. Isn't it elegant? Now it looks like a proper nursery for my grandchild. Those cutesy animals and childish colors Emma chose." She trailed off, noticing Tom's darkening expression. Those cutesy animals were hand-painted by Emma's artist sister. The mobile was made by her grandmother before she passed away last month. "How could you just?" Tom's voice cracked with emotion. Diana's smile faltered slightly. "Well, what's done is done. The decorator has already left and the baby shower is tomorrow. We can discuss any minor adjustments you'd like to make later." I felt Tom's hand on my shoulder, steady and supportive. In that moment, something shifted inside me. After 2 years of enduring Diana's constant undermining, her subtle criticisms, and her boundary-crossing surprises, I'd finally had enough. "You're right, Diana," I said calmly, surprising both her and Tom. "What's done is done, and the baby shower is indeed tomorrow." I smiled, a plan already forming in my mind. "Oh, Emma, I'm so glad you're being reasonable about this," Diana gushed, clearly relieved. "I know it's a big change, but you'll see, this is much better." "Where exactly did you put our things?" I asked, maintaining my composed demeanor. "In a storage unit downtown. Unit 247. I have the key right here." She dug through her designer purse and handed me a small key. "But you really don't need to worry about all that right now. You should be resting." I pocketed the key and nodded. "You're absolutely right. Tom and I should head home and rest before tomorrow's big event." Diana beamed, completely missing the look Tom and I exchanged. She'd always underestimated me, viewed me as the quiet, accommodating daughter-in-law who would eventually bend to her will. She had no idea that before becoming a kindergarten teacher, I'd managed events for one of the city's top hotels. As we drove home, Tom kept apologizing. "I can't believe she did this. We'll fix it, Emma. We'll get everything back." I squeezed his hand. "Yes, we will. In fact, we're going to do more than that. Call your sister Kate. We're going to need her help." Kate, unlike her mother, had been my ally from day one. She'd seen through Diana's manipulative behavior and had often stood up for me when I was still learning to find my voice in the family. "What are you planning?" Tom asked, a slight smile playing on his lips. He'd learned over our years together that my quiet exterior hid a strategic mind. "Your mother wants to surprise everyone at the baby shower," I said, rubbing my belly thoughtfully. "Then let's give her a surprise she'll never forget." I pulled out my phone and started making calls, first to Kate, then to my sister Lucy, followed by several of my closest friends. By the time we got home, Operation Nursery Rescue was in full swing. Diana had no idea she'd just given me the perfect opportunity to finally address her boundary issues. Tomorrow's baby shower would be more memorable than she could possibly imagine. "Are you sure about this?" Tom asked as we settled into bed that night. It's a lot of work, and you're 8 months pregnant. I smiled, feeling our baby move as if in agreement with my plans. I'm sure. Your mother needs to learn that being a grandmother doesn't mean she gets to override our decisions as parents. Besides, I added with a grin, I've already got reinforcements on the way. As I drifted off to sleep, I couldn't help but smile thinking about what awaited Diana at tomorrow's baby shower. She thought she'd asserted her dominance by redecorating our nursery. Instead, she'd given me the perfect opportunity to establish boundaries once and for all, and in a way she'd never see coming. The original nursery items were safely retrieved from storage that night, thanks to Kate and my sister Lucy. But they wouldn't be going back in the nursery, not yet. First, they would help me teach Diana an unforgettable lesson about respect, boundaries, and the true meaning of family. The morning of the baby shower arrived with perfect timing. I woke up early, my pregnancy insomnia finally proving useful. Tom was already up, coordinating with Kate and our friends who had worked through the night to execute our plan. Everything's ready, he whispered, kissing my forehead. Mom's going to arrive early to help set up. Her words, not mine. I nodded, slipping into the pale blue maternity dress I'd chosen for today. Perfect. Is everyone else clear on their roles? The shower was being held at our home, which had initially upset Diana. She'd wanted to host it at her country club. But I'd insisted, knowing my home court advantage would be crucial for today's events. At precisely 10 a.m., Diana's Mercedes pulled into our driveway. I watched from the window as she emerged, immaculately dressed as always, carrying several large gift bags. Right on cue, Kate's car pulled up behind her. Mother, Kate called out cheerfully. I thought I'd come early to help too. Diana's smile tightened slightly. She clearly hoped to have some time alone to make more improvements before the guests arrived. I opened the front door, greeting them both with a serene smile that would have made a Buddhist monk proud. Perfect timing, I said. We should start with the nursery. That's where we'll be displaying the gifts. Diana's face lit up. Oh yes, everyone will love seeing what I've done with it. Though, she peered at several cars parked down the street. Why are there so many vehicles here already? Oh, those are just some friends helping with the setup. I replied casually, leading them upstairs. As we approached the nursery, I could hear muffled activity behind the closed door. Diana reached for the handle, but I gently touched her arm. Before we go in, I said softly, I want to thank you for everything you did yesterday. You really showed me exactly what needed to be done. Diana preened, completely misinterpreting my words. Well, I'm just happy you're being so reasonable about it, dear. I know change can be difficult. I opened the door. Diana's triumphant smile froze on her face. The gray walls were gone, replaced by a stunning mural of an enchanted forest. The harsh chandelier had vanished, and in its place hung not just our original mobile, but an entire array of handcrafted woodland creatures dancing in the air. The sterile Victorian furniture had disappeared, replaced by comfortable, child-friendly pieces arranged in perfect harmony. But it wasn't just any woodland scene. Each element had been created by a different family member or friend. My sister's painted animals now had small plaques beneath them, noting who had contributed each piece. The rocking chair bore a handmade cushion embroidered by Tom's grandmother before she passed. Even Kate had contributed, adding her own artistic touch to the mural. What would happen to my nursery? Diana sputtered. No, Diana, I said firmly but kindly. What happened to our nursery? The one you removed without permission? The one filled with family memories and love. The room was filled with people, my sister, Tom's cousins, our closest friends, all of whom had helped restore and enhance the nursery overnight. Each person wore a t-shirt that read, "It takes a village" on the front, and "but not a dictator" on the back. I was only trying to help, Diana protested weakly. By throwing away precious family heirlooms, Kate stepped forward. By dismissing Emma's choices, by overriding their decisions as parents. That's not. I didn't. Diana's eyes darted around the room, taking in the united front before her. Every piece in this room represents someone who loves and respects our baby, I explained, resting my hand on my belly. People who understand that being family means supporting each other, not controlling each other. Diana sank into the rocking chair, the very one she tried to dispose of. For the first time since I'd known her, she seemed at a loss for words. The baby shower guests will be arriving soon, I continued. They'll see this room, and they'll see how a real family comes together. They'll see the love and effort everyone here put into creating a space that celebrates not just our baby, but our entire community of support. Tears welled up in Diana's eyes, not the manipulative ones I'd seen before, but genuine tears of realization. The room fell silent, waiting for her response. This was the moment that would define our relationship going forward, and everyone knew it. Tom stepped forward, placing a hand on his mother's shoulder. "Mom, we love you. We want you to be part of this baby's life. A big part. But you need to understand that Emma and I are the parents. We make the decisions about our child's life." The tension in the room was palpable as we waited for Diana's response. The baby kicked, as if sensing the importance of this moment. Diana stood slowly from a rocking chair, her usually perfect posture slightly slumped. She walked to the mural, gently touching one of the painted butterflies my sister had added. "I remember when Kate was born," she said quietly, surprising everyone. "My mother-in-law took over everything, the nursery, the clothes, even when I was allowed to eat. I swore I'd never be like her, and yet." She turned to face me, tears streaming down her face. "I've become exactly what I hated. I hadn't expected this." In all our years of tension, Diana had never shown such vulnerability. The room remained silent, letting her continue. "This room," she gestured around, "it's beautiful, more beautiful than what I destroyed. And it's beautiful because it was created with love, wasn't it? Not control." I stepped forward, taking her hand. "Yes, and there's still space for you to add something too, if you'd like." Diana squeezed my hand, then reached into one of her gift bags. She pulled out a small, worn book. "I brought this. I was going to hide it in the closet, but it's a collection of bedtime stories. I used to read them to Tom and Kate. Some of the pages are torn, and the cover's a bit faded." "It's perfect," I interrupted. "We can put it right here, on this shelf next to the rocking chair. Our baby should know their grandmother's voice too." The first guests began arriving shortly after, and Diana surprised us all again. Instead of taking credit or trying to control the event, she became our most enthusiastic supporter. She gave tours of the nursery, proudly pointing out each family member's contribution, genuinely praising the collaborative effort. "My brilliant daughter-in-law," I overheard her telling her friends, "she understands what I forgot, that a child needs more than perfect decor. They need a family who knows how to work together." The baby shower was a tremendous success, but the real victory was the shift in our relationship. In the weeks that followed, Diana began therapy, working to understand her controlling tendencies. She asked for permission before making suggestions, and when the baby finally arrived, she was the first to defend our parenting choices to other interfering relatives. 1 month after our daughter's birth, Diana brought over another gift. It was a beautiful photograph she had professionally taken and framed, a picture of the nursery with all the family members who had helped restore it. "I want her to grow up knowing this story," Diana said, cradling our daughter. How her nursery taught her grandmother the true meaning of family. Now, as I watched Diana gently rocking our daughter in that same chair she once tried to throw away, reading from the worn storybook she'd saved from Tom's childhood, I can't help but smile. The room around us still tells our family's story, the mural, the mobile, the handcrafted details. But now it tells a story of redemption too. The gray paint and crystal chandelier are long gone, but they left something valuable in their wake. A stronger family, rebuilt on a foundation of respect and understanding. Diana learned that being a grandmother isn't about control or perfection. It's about adding your love to an already beautiful picture. Our daughter is growing up in a room that represents not just her parents' love, but the love of an entire family who came together when it mattered most. And perhaps most importantly, she's growing up with a grandmother who learned that the best way to be part of her life was to respect the boundaries that protect it. Sometimes the biggest surprises come not from grand gestures or dramatic changes, but from the simple willingness to learn and grow. Diana's failed nursery makeover didn't just give us a better room, it gave us a better family. As my daughter drifts off to sleep in her grandmother's arms, surrounded by the love of every person who helped create this space, I realize that sometimes the happy endings we get aren't the ones we expected. They're even better.